Hi everybody, it's Christina. Welcome to day one of our challenge here. Okay, let me just get set up, make sure I can see comments and everything. Hope everyone's having a really great Monday so far. Okay, so there's two things that you need to have for today. And I'm going to paste them here in just a moment. Hi Vanessa, good to see you. Good to see you. Hope your Monday is going really well. Give everyone just a moment to kind of pile in. Hi Molly, good to see you. Happy Monday. Okay, so the two things that you need are, you need the abundance check, your daily abundance check, which we're going to talk about that here in just a minute. Talk to you a little bit more about what that's about. And then you also need this workbook sheet. This worksheet is called your money mindset assessment. And this is going to be the very, very simple thing that I'm going to have you do today. We're actually going to ease into this challenge because it is going to be pretty intense. Who was it? Who did the branding challenge? That was our last challenge. Lynn is here. Good to see you, Lynn. Good to see you. Who did our branding challenge? That one was pretty intense too. This one I hope is going to be just as intense. I hope you're going to get just as much out of this one as you got out of the last one. But for today, we're just going to kind of ease into it. What I really, really want you to do is do the assessment. Just kind of talk about what your thoughts are about money, that sort of thing. We're going to go through that here in just a moment. And then I really want you to spend your daily money. Rachel raises hand. Hi, by the way. Hi. Rachel is doing a series this week. Rachel, why don't you, if you have it available, can you put a link to your sign up page for your series? If you are into tarot, which most of you are in this group, you have some affinity for tarot. Rachel is an intuitive tarot reading mentor, and she helps people learn how to read tarot intuitively. And she's doing a series this week. When are you starting? Are you starting it tomorrow? But it's going to be the Fool's Journey. She's going to go through some decks and she's going to talk about the differences in the decks and things like that. It's going to be a really great time, so sign up for that. Hi, Joanna. Hi, Jennifer. Good to see you. All right, everybody's coming in. Okay, so we actually have a lot of new people to the group. We hit our 500 member mark. We did that 2 weeks ago, last week, and we did our giveaway last week as well. And that was a lot of fun. I've gotten some really great feedback from the people who won, especially the people who won the digital products. There was a lot of great feedback with that, especially with the master activations that I gave out. So everybody's been doing a great job with that. Hi, Victoria. Good to see you. So yeah, we hit our 500 members, and that's awesome. I'm very excited, very happy. But we also have a lot of people who have never done a challenge in their life. Like, they've never even heard of it. They didn't even know it was a thing. So I figured, okay, well, we'll just go ahead and start from the beginning, and we'll just start talking about what a challenge is, and then we'll kind of go from there. So is anybody here who's never done a challenge or never even heard of a challenge before, ever? Or maybe you've done like a challenge like way back in the day and maybe you didn't really know what it was or what the deal is. Who is new to challenges completely? We've done, how many challenges have we done? We've done, I think, 4 or 5 this year. Victoria is brand new. Awesome. Okay, so you're going to have a lot of fun. So challenges are an event that I put on in this group. We do series, we do challenges, and we do workshops. The workshops, we do pretty much one workshop every month. We do one event a month, basically. It's either a workshop, a series, or a challenge. So the challenges are more interactive. Leonie, hi Christina, hi ladies, just getting off the plane. Awesome, good to see you, good to have you here. So, we do one type of event per month in this group. Normally, you know, I think there's only been like 1 or 2 months that we haven't done anything since last September, and that's just because sometimes I just get too busy. I have the master class, and then I have my one-on-one clients, and I also have the other things that I'm doing too, the secret projects that I'm working on. So we are working on a secret project right now. We're going to be unveiling that Friday. I'm so excited. I'm terrible at keeping secrets, y'all. Like, I cannot keep secrets. Like, I'm the worst liar. Like, my, I have never been able to get away with lying ever. Like, you can just see it in my face. My face turns like bright red. My eyes get all glossy, and I begin to like check out into distant space because I'm like trying to emotionally not get involved in a lie or something like that. But I can never keep a secret for very long. So I just have to pat myself on the back for not spilling the secret up until this point, because I am notorious for blurting out, things that I'm working on that I'm excited about. It's just because I'm excited. I get excited. I want to share with everybody. But Rachel's doing it. Susan's doing it. Leonie is in on the secret. There's actually 12 of us, including myself, that are in on the secret, and it's a masterclass sponsored event. All the girls that are in the masterclass, the Make Terror Your Business masterclass with me, we are putting on a secret event, and we will talk about that on Friday. And basically, all you need to know is there's just going to be like an amazing amount of gifts and just a whole bunch of awesome stuff. Susan said you've done quite well. Yeah, anybody who knows me, has known me long enough, is like, they know that I have the biggest trouble like keeping secrets and not just like telling everybody. my husband is like my husband doesn't even tell me anything anymore because he's like, well, I don't want you to tell the secret, so he won't even like tell me certain things. But anyways, I digress. Okay, so we do one event per month, and this month we are doing a challenge. A challenge is a 5-day event. Every day, Monday through Friday, from today forward, I will be hopping on live stream, and we will get together and we'll do a lesson of some sort or an exercise of some sort, and you'll have homework. And then at the end of the challenge, hopefully you'll have gotten something out of it. It turns into a transformational experience. How you started at the beginning of the challenge hopefully is going to be different from who you are at the end of the challenge. Now, challenges are all about how much work you want to put in. Like, I can hold the container, I can hold the space, I can create the sacred space for you, I can create the journal prompts, and I can create the exercises. But if you really want to get a lot out of a challenge, I really recommend setting aside like 1 hour per day if you can, and do the journaling, do the workbooks, do the work, because that's how you're going to get the most out of it. If I could do it for you, I would, but I can't. You need to step up and you need to do it, and then at the end of the challenge, ideally, you're a bit of a different person than when you started with. Now, oh my gosh, we've done so many challenges. We did the Make Terror Your Business Quick Start Challenge. Many of you have that. We have done the Feng Shui Your Office for Prosperity Challenge. These are all free, by the way, and you can go back to the pinned post, and you can get all of these challenges, all these series that we've done, and you can get them for free. Let's see, what else did we do? We did the Branding Challenge, which the Branding Challenge was awesome. I mean, like, I totally changed a lot of things about my business. I got really concise about my branding. I got really concise about like the colors and brand recognition and all this kind of stuff. And this week we're going to be doing a money mindset challenge because okay, so let me backtrack. So I've been doing coaching since 2014. So I started out as a tarot reader. I started out on the hotlines and got on Etsy and started my shop. And that was full time since 2012. I've been selling readings online since 2009, but it was always like a part-time gig for me. It was always like, well, in the beginning I was just trying to prove to myself that I actually could do it. That someone would actually like pay me to have a psychic reading done. And then 2012, you all know my story. It's in the quick start. But I basically got laid off, and I was looking for something, and I found the psychic hotlines. And then I started doing readings on there, and then I started doing readings on Etsy, and since then I've just been moving along and just going to the next level. And then so the next level for me was to start getting into coaching, because I really liked working with the clients that had that transformational experience. I really liked giving life advice. I really liked, I specialized for a really long time in helping women who were trapped in codependent relationships. Like, I had one client who was married, she was unhappily married, and over the course of about 2 years of doing coaching on and off, she was able to finally file for divorce, leave her husband, which it was a dead marriage anyways. I mean, they didn't even sleep in the same room or anything like that for like the past 5 or 7 years, something like that at that point. And she had this lifelong dream of just up and moving to Hawaii. She wanted to go live in paradise. And so I coached her with that, and now happily I can say that she's in Hawaii now. She makes $120,000 a year as she works for some hospital. She does like coordination or something like that in Hawaii. And now she's dating people, and she's meeting older guys that are like financially secure, and we were able to get her out of that codependent relationship. And then, I have other clients too. Like one client was she has a codependent sister, and she felt smothered by her codependent sister. She couldn't do anything in her life without her sister's approval, without that validation, whether she actually wanted it from her sister or not. Her sister would always like butt into her life and butt into her things, and like it got to the point where family getting together for Thanksgiving and Christmas and stuff like that was getting difficult, and she was starting to seclude herself. She was starting to seclude herself, and she was starting to miss out on life. And so after, I think we worked together for about a year and a half. After working with her for that long, we were able to do some energetic exercises, and we were able to start building up her energy and start getting to a point where she could go to family functions and not be as triggered as she once was. And there's always going to be that difficulty there, but at least now, she's not living for her sister's validation and her sister's approval, which again is a codependent relationship, which is something that I've found that as a coach, I tend to attract people who are dealing with codependency in some way. And what I found was that all of these other clients I've worked with, pretty much everybody I've ever worked with, we all had these three main things in common. We're going to actually talk about that tomorrow, the 3 financial fears that sabotage your business. But what I'm getting at here is that I never set out to be a money mindset coach. I never set out to teach about money mindset. For me, it was something that really wasn't ever like on my radar, if that makes sense. And it's something that's kind of developed as a byproduct after working with people since 2014, so 14, 15, 16, 17, for 4 years now, on and off, doing life coaching and spiritual mentorship. It's something that I've noticed, and we all kind of have these things in common. And what it comes down to is a lot of us, we really don't have a healthy relationship with ourselves, which leads to having unhealthy relationships with other people, which ultimately kind of sabotage ourselves, not just in our business, but in our entire life too. I mean, your money mindset, the way you view money is not, it does have a lot to do with your business. I mean, it has everything to do with your business at the end of the day. How much you think you're worth, if you feel you're worthy to even charge the amounts, to even charge, period. But it also affects so much more. So my goal with this challenge is to help you start living more abundantly in all aspects of your life. Yes, in your business, because that's amazing validation and confirmation that you're doing something that people want, you're helping people. That money is sort of that energetic exchange that, yes, you are helping people, and people do find value in what you do. And finding value in what we do is that validation that we need, that confirmation for us to get up every day and to keep going, right? Because if we're not helping anybody, what's the point? You can go do a million other things and make a ton of money, but we choose to be heart-centered spiritual entrepreneurs for a reason, because we want to know that what we're doing is actually helping people, right? So it comes down to the service. Joanna says, I guess I have done a challenge. I'm still in the middle of the Make Terror Your Business. I love it. So much knowledge gained. I just have never participated live. Excellent. Okay. So live challenges are a lot of fun. Marissa says, still have my brand inspiration board going on Pinterest. Awesome. Vanessa says, that's me. I depend on my husband. Yeah, I mean, for sure. I depend on my husband a lot too. I think that some codependency in romantic relationships are necessary because otherwise, what's the point of being together? If you don't need each other emotionally for any reason, a little bit of codependency is good. But codependency itself is not a negative thing. Codependency can be a good thing. It's just, when does it become a problem? When does it keep you from figuring out what you're made of? When does it keep you from actualizing your full potential? That's where it becomes a problem. Rachel says, I'm the opposite. Everyone depends on me. I feel guilt for depending. That's a big one too. That is a big, big, big one too. Susan says, right, gives us the fuel energy that we need to keep going. Yeah, I mean, I would love to sit here and tell you that it's as long as you show up and everything like that, then it doesn't really matter. But in reality, I haven't at least gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, well, even if I don't help anybody, I'm still going to do this. No, that's not how it is for me. Like, I need to know that people are actually getting something out of this. Otherwise, there's, a million other things that I can go do and spend my time with and be just as satisfied. But it's not like that for us. We're a different type of person, and I'm going to be talking about that this week too. So yeah, we'll be doing a live topic every single day. There's going to be homework. There's going to be a game to play. This challenge is actually broken up into 2 parts. I haven't done a challenge that's like this before. Most of the challenges just have the daily task, but for this one, I decided to just go that extra step and add a game because we've been really enjoying the point system in the group, and I've been having a lot of fun with that. And so I was like, okay, well, let's make it a game. Let's make it interesting. Let's make it entertaining. So there's 2 parts to this challenge, and the money game part is completely optional. You don't have to actually participate in it. This is a concept that was introduced to me by Lily Rodriguez and Jennifer. She's actually, Morales Jennifer is actually on the live stream. Between those 2 ladies, I met them in Heather's group, and they introduced me to the law of attraction. Now, I had always been like into the law of attraction, but I had never really decided to study it in more depth. I thought it was basically just your thoughts create your reality, and I kind of went off on my own tangent there for a little while. And then these 2 wonderful ladies, they introduced me to a couple exercises that you can play, and this is all from I believe it's the Ask and It Is Given book by what's her name? Let me get it. Ask and It Is Given by Esther Hicks. And has anybody heard of Abraham? The teachings of Abraham. Is anybody familiar with that concept? Abraham is an entity that is channeled by a lady named Esther Hicks. Pamela says, good afternoon, looking forward to this challenge and its divine timing. My 2 affirmation cards for the day. When I respect money, my money respects me. Obsessing over the outcome of a relationship gets in the way. Instead, let go and allow. Awesome. I'm totally right there with you. That's amazing. What cards are you using, I'm wondering? Is it like a oracle card deck, or what is it that you're actually using to get those messages? Are they affirmation cards, I guess? Okay, so a lot of you have heard of them. Okay, so has anybody actually played the money game before? Raise your hand and let me know if anybody's actually played the money game before. If you have played the money game before, then you'll be familiar with this process, and I think you'll get a lot out of it. But if you've never played the money game before, you're in for a really fun game. It's a lot of fun. I always grow so much whenever I play this game. And it's one of those games that you can play over and over and over and over again. Okay, so what it is it's an exercise in receiving amounts of money in a safe environment. So if you are someone who is consistently triggered by large amounts of money for whatever reason, we're going to talk more about all that kind of stuff tomorrow. Why you might be triggered, what triggers you, and where you fall into the spectrum of how you think about money and what your reactions to money are, right? So money itself, just money in general itself, is neutral. Money doesn't care if you deserve it. Money doesn't care if you're pretty enough for it. Money doesn't care if you're smart enough for it. Money doesn't care if you're a good person. I know that can be kind of shocking to some people, but money itself is a very neutral thing. It's just a thing. It's a physical, tangible representation of an energetic exchange. So when it comes to money, a lot of it has to deal with your reactions and your triggers that money inspires, and it really has nothing to do with money itself. I think that's something important that I want to preface this whole money game with. So what I'm looking for when you do play the game is I'm looking for, and what you should be looking for, is to what extent am I triggered and by what dollar amounts am I triggered? How easy or how difficult is it for me to spend money? And also, at what point do I get stuck? Because at what point you get stuck is going to kind of tell you what your financial ceiling potential is, if that makes sense. And by the way, Facebook is doing weird things today. They're like redoing a lot of their group stuff. So if I'm looking over here and over there and over here, it's because they keep changing things. Jennifer says, "So awesome! I love when I get to be taught this again." Yes. Lynn says, "No, she hasn't heard of it." Rachel, "I was tempted to in another group, but I didn't like the leader's vibe. I got you." Rachel says, "I know what you mean." No. Okay, good. So a lot of you are going to be brand new. Okay, so for 5 days, I'm going to be depositing a check into your new account at the Bank of Abundance. Every day you're going to have a new dollar amount, and the rules are very simple, but the rules are very, very challenging, okay? They're simple, but they're challenging. First and foremost, you cannot invest the money in your business. And I know you're like, I know a lot of you are probably freaking out about that, but this is an exercise in feeling into where your blocks are with your money story, not with your business. Okay, so we're going more generalized, and then we're going to go more into a specialized parts of it. Okay, so you cannot use the money to invest in your business, and you cannot use the money to pay off your debt. It has to be brand new purchases. You cannot donate the money, and you cannot invest the money into high interest accounts. So for all of you who think that you're being smart by investing your money into a high interest account so you continue to get more money, while the financial advisor part of me says, yes, that's a good idea, for the money game, nope, can't do it, because you're going to get a new dollar amount the next day. So this is an exercise also in trusting that their money is coming, and that you don't have to obsess or know exactly where the money is at every given moment. It's an exercise in trusting that the money is coming to you from expected and unexpected sources. So you can't donate it, you can't do a charity. You can set up a foundation if you would like. You can buy property and you can set up a foundation. Like, for example, if you are really into conservation and animals, you could buy a big property and you can start like a nonprofit for the animals, and you would tally up how much you would spend on food and stuff like that. So you could do that, but you can't just donate a lump sum. The reason why is because there's a trigger for people. We're gonna talk about this tomorrow, but a trigger for people who receive large amounts of money that they need to get rid of it really quickly. And one way that people do that is they just give it away in a lump sum. Okay, so we don't want to do that. We want to really be intentional. It really comes down to being intentional with how you're spending the money. I want you to know where every single dollar is going, and I want you to have that uncomfortable compromise situation with yourself as you're spending this money. I want you to feel into all of that uncomfortability, and yeah, it's going to spark some probably negative feelings, but I promise that you're going to learn a lot about yourself, and you're going to learn a lot about your relationship with money as you do this. So charities are out. High interest savings accounts are out. The money is there for your pleasure and your leisure only. It must be spent every single day, and you can't roll over any amounts. Meaning, you can't save today and tomorrow's and spend it all tomorrow. You can't save the whole week and spend it all at one time. The money must be spent every single day. You must go back to a balance of zero. Barbara, can I buy clothes? Yes. You can buy anything you want, especially personal related. You could buy a boat. You could buy a new house. You could buy, Lorene says, new tarot decks for me. You could buy all the tarot decks that you want. You can buy all of them. You can buy a brand new computer. You can buy whatever you want as long as it's not solely for your business operations. It's not a high interest account. It's not a savings account. And it's not to pay off debt. So you can use it for any type of selfish, self-first type of pleasure, leisure activities. You can buy your mom a house. You can do whatever you want. The idea is that you're settling into what you would actually use the money for, what's important for you. Because here's the thing. When I didn't have a lot of money, right? I still don't have a lot of money. I'm comfortable, but I'm not a millionaire by any stretch yet. But when I was broke, I remember there were so many things that I really thought I wanted. Like, I really wanted all the new tarot decks, and I really wanted these fancy things, and I was like, if I just had the money, I would buy them. And then when I finally got that money, when I finally had like a $2,000 weekend, my first $2,000 weekend, that I made $2,000 in like 2 days, I was like, I really don't want that stuff anymore. It's like, when you actually have the money, it's like you become more discerning about what you actually spend it on. It's a very interesting dynamic. When you don't have a lot of money, it's like and then you'll make yourself sick. Like you'll totally go to a negative balance just to get that one thing to get you through the moment. It's like a Band-Aid in some ways. It's like, you purchase the thing to feel better, to release some endorphins, to get you through the moment. But then, a week later, the novelty kind of wears off, and then you're kind of back where you started, and then you're still broke, and that sort of thing. But once you actually start getting those higher income dollar amounts coming in, it's really interesting what happens. You decide you don't want any of that. Like, you buy maybe like one or two things off your Amazon wish list, but other than that, you're like, it's not as interesting. It's not as necessary anymore, if that makes sense. It's very interesting how that happens. So this exercise is also meant to get that compulsion out of you, get that spending compulsion out of you, because your brain doesn't know the difference, whether you have the physical item and you buy it with real money or you buy it with energetic money. Your brain can't tell the difference. Your brain doesn't know. You're still going to get that same euphoric feeling out of purchasing with fake money as you're going to get when you purchase with real money. Susan says, I want a fancy haircut and dye. Do it. Rachel, and then something stupid comes up and I feel guilty for buying anything for myself. It happened. I know. I remember. I know. Rachel says, can we buy gifts or only for... You can buy gifts. You can buy gifts for anybody that you want. I just wouldn't spend like your whole amount per day on another person. Break it up and at least buy one thing for yourself per day. And if you need the crutch of buying gifts for other people, then go ahead and do it, but make sure you're spending some money on yourself every single day. So day one, you get $100. We're just going to keep it simple. $100, that's the going rate for a 1-hour session. That's like the bottom line for a 1-hour session. Vivian says, okay, you're saying we pretend to do it as well. It's all pretend. So we're not actually buying anything. If you have the money, but I don't know why you would be doing this challenge if you actually did. It's all pretend. It's all Monopoly money, okay? It's all fake money. So I'm giving you a check. If you look into pinned post, there's an image. It's a check. Here, let me get it up for you so I can read it. And it's to you and your happiness. It's from the universe. And it's from the Bank of Abundance. And it's paid to the order of you for $100. So what you can do is you can go to Amazon if you want. You can create a wish list. You can go to Pinterest and shop on Pinterest. You can go to Etsy. I would really love for you to post in the group what you're actually buying with your money or what you would like to buy with your money. Again, we're not spending real money. We're spending fake energetic money that I'm giving you. Okay, so make sure we're clear on that. Don't go spend $100 of your real money. I'm giving you energetic money. Okay, good. Vivian says, but you're right, it still has an impact. Yes, have your, okay, good. Susan says, spoil my fur babies. Yeah, do that. Do whatever makes you happy. It's about release. It's about getting that euphoric type of feeling and getting those compulsions out of the way. So when it comes time to when you actually get $100 or when you actually get $1,000, you're not feeling like you have to rush out and spend it on all of this stupid stuff that you don't even need. You become more discerning because we've already been through the exercise of spending frivolously, right? Lisa says, are you going to set up a pin post for each amount? Yes. The pin post every day will have a link to your brand new check. So if you go look in the group for today's post, there is a list of what we're talking about today, and then there's a link for your check, and then there's also a link for the money mindset assessment worksheet. And if you RSVP'd on the opt-in page, you're going to get a email every single day that has a recap of everything, including the checks, the video replays, the links to the worksheets and all that kind of stuff. So if you sign up for that page and entered your email address in and your name, and it said, okay, got it, and then you had to go in and confirm your subscription, you'll get an email every single day that has all of this information in it. And what I recommend that you do, when you go get the first one, I recommend that you whitelist my email address, meaning you mark it as safe, so that way it doesn't go into your junk mail. And then I also recommend that you go into your email and you create a new folder, and you can go ahead and name it Conquer Your Financial Fears Challenge. And then every day that you get a new email from me about this challenge, just you can click it, do a little check mark on it, and then it'll have like move to, and then you can put it into a new folder. Hi Krista, good to see you. Jennifer says, it really, really works. I'm on month 6 of this and it's so fun and has changed my mindset and heart around money. I've manifested enough money to get me through this whole year that I've been unemployed. Just haven't figured out how to keep money. Awesome. Yeah, keeping money is also an interesting dynamic too. Joanna says, do we assume it has the same value as in reality? Yes. Like something that actually costs $100. For example, in this instance, I want to buy a house, but I know $100 will not purchase the entire home. Yes, Joanna. Okay, so today you get $100. Tomorrow you're going to get $1,000. Wednesday you're going to get $10,000. Thursday you're going to get $100,000. And Friday you're going to get $1 million. Okay? So, don't worry about how much you're getting today, because today is just sort of to ease you into it. As we go along in the week, the dollar amounts are going to grow exponentially. Lisa says, just thought it would help if we had one place to post our spending each day. Yes, post it in the pin post, Lisa. Yes. If you care about the points, if you care about getting the 20 points every single day that we do this, that goes into the point system, and then once you reach 1,000 points, you'll be able to basically hand in your points, and you'll be able to get sessions, you'll be able to get trainings from me, and discounts, and all that kind of cool stuff. So, Rachel says, my heart dropped on Wednesday. Okay, so pay attention to that. Yeah, start paying attention and make a note of that, how you're feeling. Krista says, I've seen these abundance check lately. I think it's such a wonderful idea. I cannot wait to get my new printer in the next couple weeks. Barbara says, I already spent my abundance check. Canon Sweet Power Shot. Awesome. Yeah, so Lisa and everybody else, if you care about the 20 points, make sure you go to the pin post. In the email that I send you, I'm going to send you also the hashtag that you can do. If you go to the group and then you look on the left-hand side, there's like this bar, okay, and then it has like a search function. If you type in the hashtag that I send you every single day, it should bring up the pin post. All right, so every day there's going to be a new pin post, and then there's going to be a special hashtag that you can use to find that post. Susan said, felt my eyes perk up when you said $100,000. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so an overview of the challenge, right? So everybody's good on the money game. Yes? Does anybody have any questions about the money game? About what it can be spent on, what it can't be spent on? we're fake spending this, right? But I still want to see what you want to spend it on. So post it under the pinned post what you're going to actually buy, because what that does, it helps inspires others. So as we move along and the dollar amounts get higher and higher and higher, you're going to find that it's going to become more difficult to spend the money or to find things you want to spend the money on. I know that sounds weird, but wait till Friday when you have $1,000,000 and you're like, well, what, I've already bought all this awesome stuff these 4 other days. What else do I need? You know? So as you post things that you want to buy, it helps inspires other people that want to buy things too, and they maybe don't know what they want to buy, and so you're helping them buy. And yes, you can help other people buy. So if someone posts, I don't know what to spend my $1,000 on, what should I spend it on? Okay, give them, go find things for them to buy. You know, post stuff from Amazon, post stuff from Etsy, tell them about the amazing offers that you have. You know, help people buy too. Susan says, sounds awesome and feels really good to do this week. Yeah, it's all about fun. I mean, we're going to do the intense stuff Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Those are going to be the most intense days. But I also wanted to do something really fun. Rachel says, just convert it to $100 or $100 in that currency. I think you're making this too complicated. It's just $100. So whatever $100 looks like for you in your home country in your own currency, use that. Sound good? Jennifer says it gets super hard. It does. And the first time I ever did the money challenge, the money game, I got stuck on 10K. I was like, because 10K is not enough to buy a new house. 10K is not enough to buy a car. What do I want? And so I literally got stuck. And then the second time I did it, I got stuck at like 100,000. And I think the last couple times I keep getting stuck at 100,000. That seems to be like my ceiling right now. But the idea is to keep playing it until you can get really fluent with spending money. Because if you can spend money, if you can direct where the money's going to go, then you have a reason to make money. Then getting $1,000 in one chunk of change in your PayPal becomes like, oh, well, I can just go buy this now. You know, it's not like a big deal. No, I mean, does currency rate apply? Because I totally get a villa in Italy, but is that U.S. money? Yeah, you can do conversion if you want. Sure. Like, for when I played it last, I bought a home in Costa Rica for like $400,000 US, which was like nothing in whatever money that was. Jennifer, me too. I started doing weekly donations to charities. Yeah, right. It gets hard. It gets hard. Holly says 10K is a luxury vacation. It is. It is. Oh my gosh. Could you imagine going to like a 5-star all-inclusive resort in the Bahamas and doing like the whole spa experience and eating the gourmet food and catching a show a couple nights a week or something like that? That would be awesome. Vanessa says, haha, I don't have a problem spending money. Well, just wait. Wait till you get to day 4 or day 5. We might uncover something there. Lorene says, Costa Rica, yeah, baby. Susan, oh, I've always wanted to go to Italy, Rachel. I know, Italy is beautiful. It is so beautiful. I just want to go eat all of the fresh pasta and go sample all of the Tuscany wines and things like that. So today we're just doing an overview. We're just about done here for the overview. We're going to talk about the money assessment here. That'll be the last thing we talk about. Let's see, what else am I forgetting? So Tuesday, we're going to talk about the 3 financial fears that sabotage your business. That's going to be probably a long one. That's probably going to be like an hour long, hour to an hour and a half long stream. And then Wednesday, we're going to talk about price. And we're also going to touch on ancestral healing. We're going to touch on karmic contracts. We're going to talk about some of these mindset things that we've kind of inherited. There's also going to be 2 bonus gifts that I have for you on Wednesday. One is an interview with my aunt, who is a shaman. She leads groups through, ayahuasca. She leads groups through ayahuasca and plant medicine. And then the other one is a call replay that I did with a group of ladies, and it goes over in a little bit more depth than I'm going to go over on Wednesday about ancestral healing, ancestral karma, karmic contracts, inheriting poverty mindset and things like that. And then there's also a guided meditation in there to heal those branches of your family tree. And then Thursday, we are going to do an exercise in. Has anybody heard of thought form magic? Did anybody take the when we did the Make Epic Money on the Psychic Hotlines? One of the free gifts was me and Heather put together a invoke your hotline persona exercise. Did anybody do that? Susan says, I've known for a long time I needed to heal those ancestral healings. Yeah, just haven't seemed to do it yet. Well, awesome. This is going to be a great opportunity for you to do that. I'll talk more about this on Wednesday, but I also have a lot of stuff in my family tree that needed mended. Rachel says, I've heard, but I hadn't tried it. Okay, awesome. So we're going to do this on Thursday. We're going to create a thought form, a magical thought form. So thought form magic is one of the more adept levels of magic. They really don't teach it unless you're in a second degree, and some don't even teach it until you hit your third degree. And what it is it's mental magic. When you're beginning your if you are pagan or you do witchcraft or you practice magic or you have your own magical tradition. There's many of them out there. But thought form magic is pretty much something that applies to all traditions. So when you first get started, right, they teach you about candles and herbs and crystals and correspondences and all of these wonderful, awesome things that you can use to amplify your magic. And what these individual components do is they help you psychologically anchor your intention into the spell, and it gives you it's like you think about it and you put it together. It's like when you're baking a cake, right? You have all of these ingredients in these certain amounts, and at the end of it you get this beautiful cake or this beautiful manifestation. Thought form magic is once you already know a lot of the candle colors and the herbs and the crystals and all that kind of stuff that goes into spell work. Thought form magic is a higher level magic where you're literally doing spell work without any of that. No candles, no crystals, no herbs required, because you've already mastered the basics, so you can already kind of put spells together, but you can do it in a mental capacity. We call it the astral plane. So Thursday is going to be a lot of fun. We're actually going to call in our money maven, and we're going to do that through thought form magic. And what it is, it's a lot of journaling. We're going to be writing the parameters of that. If you don't know what parameters mean, that's okay. We'll get to that on Thursday. We're going to talk about like the traits that you want your money maven to have, your power symbol, your power, your sign that you're going to receive when you know your money maven is, when you have properly invoked that money maven. But basically what it is, it's a way to do magic that is instant. It happens on the astral plane, so it's instant. If you can visualize it, if you can form it in your mental capacity, then it's instant. You don't have to do all of these rituals in order to call in that energy. So it's very handy, practically wise. It's just handy because if you're about to get on a call and do a sales call, or you're about to pitch someone, or you're about to go on live stream or something, what you do is you invoke that mental thought form, and then it's just a quick instantaneous way to align your energy with that which you want to be and what you want to represent. Krista says Christopher Penzak has an amazing book on the subject called Instant Magic. I highly recommend getting it. Yep. It's instant. It is. Holly says, can't wait for Thursday. And then Friday, we're going to do, I'm going to tell you where to go from here. I'm going to tell you some of my favorite books, some of my favorite tools, my decks. Maybe I'll throw in some affirmations there. I don't really know. We'll have to see. But basically, I'm just going to throw a whole bunch of stuff at you and say, here, go forth, go forward, and continue working on this, because this challenge is really just to kind of get you started. I mean, we're going to do some serious, deep work, but at the same time, we're just scratching the surface, right? So everybody's pretty pumped, right? Okay. So does anybody know what a money mindset is? Is this a new term for everybody, or has everybody kind of heard money mindset before? In most cases, when we finally hear the term money mindset, it's usually in a negative connotation, because usually we're talking about how a money mindset has a negative influence on making money. Now, money mindset, like money, is not inherently a bad thing. If I say, okay, well, what's your money mindset? It's not like I'm telling you that there's something wrong with you or anything like that. Your money mindset, just like money, is a neutral thing. You can have a positive money mindset. You can have a negative money mindset. You can have both a positive and a negative money mindset, kind of just depending on your life experiences. So, does anybody have any idea about what influences your money mindset? And so, your money mindset is how you think about money, how you perceive money, how you think it should be used, how you think. There's a lot to do with it, but I want to see what you guys think. Does anybody have any ideas about what influences your money mindset? And I'll just give chat a moment because there's like a 60-second delay before I see comments. How I grew up. Yeah. So the beliefs and the values that were instilled upon you at birth from your parents' um, thoughts about money that you inherited. Yeah. The role models that were presented to you through authority figures such as parents, teachers, um, babysitters, family, friends, anybody who's older and in a position of authority. Lisa, whether or not you feel deserving, yeah, yeah. Whether you feel like you even deserve to make money and how much money and how often and all of these other variables influenced on it. Joanna says, same, how I grew up, yeah. Rachel says, I'm used to living in a negative bank balance, so having money feels weird. Absolutely, yeah. So that kind of goes back to the role models. Susan says, I think what influences mine is a really long line of poverty state of mind. It seems like even back to my great grandfather, there has been a feast or famine sort of thing happening going on. Yeah, mine too. Leonie, belief system, past script, yeah. Krista says, I would have to agree how I was raised. Mm-hmm. Beverly, my problem is that I visualize having money already, but I haven't done the work to actualize it. That's a big one. Yeah. So we need to figure out what is preventing you from doing the work. Okay. So you've already done the visualization part of what your life would look like with money and what it feels like to have money. And so now we need to find that motivation for you, Beverly, to be able to go forward and to do the work. And sometimes a lot of that happens. A lot of that I'm just going to throw some things out there at you without, we haven't had a discussion about this or anything like that. But I'm just going to throw some things out. Usually when a person lacks the motivation to make the money, it's usually because of a couple things. First, they think that they're going to be a one-hit wonder, meaning they're going to have their one thing and then, they're going to put all this effort into the one thing and then it's mediocrely successful and then they don't have their next big idea. Okay, so it could also be the fact that you feel limited in your ideas right now because when you are tapped into a positive money mindset, you're not worried about where the next idea is going to come from because every day is an inspiration for you. So those are some things that could be affecting your ability to, as you said, actualize the money. It could also be environment related. I mean, you could just not have a conducive environment to putting that time aside, you know, a lot of things like that. Pamela says conditioning from parents and society. Yes, society, cultural values, religious values, all of these things have a lot to do with your money mindset. Leonie says fear, upbringing, life experiences. Yes. Okay, so not only do we have culture, not only do we have society, not do we only do we have our ancestral inheritances, but also our familial, our family traditions as well. But we also have our life experiences. So what if someone grew up and had, for all intents and purposes, they had an amazing upbringing. They had positive role models. They had, you know, um, they never worried about where the next meal was going to come from. They got to go to all of the parties. They had an amazing Sweet 16. They were what we call spoiled, right? Or, well taken care of, which there's nothing wrong with being spoiled, by the way. But what happens when someone is overindulged, right? They go through life kind of thinking that they're invincible to some degree. So what happens when they get out in the real world and they make a mistake, like take out a $5,000 credit card limit and then not have a job to be able to pay it back? So we have these life experiences as well that have these harsh, sharp life experiences as well that have kind of given us a rude awakening when it comes to money and perhaps have changed our view of how we see money and how it works in the world. Okay, yeah, Barbara says survival. Yeah, for sure. Jennifer, me three on that. Lack of trust. If you don't, trust is number one, for sure. And trust comes from knowing yourself. And that's what this challenge is aiming to do. I just want you to understand yourself better. Like I said, this challenge is not to make you feel bad or to bring up some unresolved trauma or to trigger you in such a negative capacity. But it is, as always, everything I do in my business and my coaching practice is about getting you to understand the truth of the situation, to understand where it is you are right now. Because if you can figure out where you are right now, well, then figuring out where you need to go becomes sometimes easier. It's like looking at a map. If you can figure out where on the map you are and you can figure out where you want to go, okay, well, then you just draw a line. And maybe some lines look like this and they're curved, and some maybe they go backwards and forwards and up and down. But eventually you get to that point. But if you don't have any recollection of where you are, you don't know anything about yourself, you don't know anything about your beliefs, your values, how you feel about money, then you're just kind of shooting in the dark. And that's what happens when people take 3 years to get their first client, because they don't know where they are. And if they don't know where they are, then their clients sure as hell don't know where they are either. So that's a really great point. Thank you for bringing that up, Jennifer. I appreciate that. Joanna says, trying not to internalize my family's toxic view of money or even success. Honestly, do not communicate my ideas or my next step with my family because I know they will criticize it. That's big too, about going back to having that conducive environment. Yeah. So I'd rather just create a positive bubble and to not let them in. And sometimes you have to do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's a video that I did. You're going to get access to that this week. But if you want, you can go. If you want to get a head start, you can go on my YouTube channel. It's Tarot Biz Mentor. TAROTBIZMENTOR. And and there's a video about 3 radical and rebellious things that I did to shift my spiritual business to the next level. And the first thing I tell people is that I picked up and moved 2,600 miles away from my family because they were toxic and I wasn't going to be able to reach my full potential while I was sitting, waiting around for their approval and their validation, for sure. Victoria, a community of poverty is inclusive of having lack connects you with people in a weird way. Okay, Victoria, I'm really glad you brought this up because the spiritual field itself is ripe with poverty mindset. I mean, there's we're not going to touch too much on this, but there's this whole group of people out there who feel that charging for spiritual services itself is diabolical in some way. Like, it's something you don't do. And then they wonder why they're broke all the time, and then they wonder why people are taking advantage of them all the time. And so there are people out there, we call them the wounded healers. They're going around trying to help people because they feel compelled to do it. They really want to help people, but at the same time, they are walking around with the mindset that you don't charge for spiritual services. Now, that's one reason why there's the poverty mindset in the spiritual community is so rampant. Another reason why is because a lot of us are introverts and a lot of us are very empathic. And when you are empathic and you take on other people's energy like that, it just, you can only service so many people at one time, especially if you're working for free or by donation, which is not something I recommend unless you're just getting experience. Now, when you finally make the jump, and I'm not here to convince you that charging for your services is um, the right or wrong thing to do, because I'm so past that argument at this point. I don't even dwell on that because I know that I myself, I want to make money and I want to help people, and those two ideals are not mutually exclusive, right? That making my purpose, my mission for my business is that making money is easy and fun, and that making lots of money and helping tons of people are what I'm here to do and what everybody else is here to do as well. So we're not going to talk too much about that argument, but yes, that is a reason why there is a really big poverty mindset with spiritual people. And then you have the people that are working by donation and they feel guilty for charging and stuff like that. But if you notice, those people are always walking around with a monkey on their back. They're always walking around talking about how broke they are and how they, their life is a mess, and they just don't understand why they're doing all these good things and karma's not rewarding them with $1,000 check in the mail every week. So there is a really big disconnect, and Victoria, I'm so glad you brought that up, because a lot of people are coming over from this whole belief system of not charging, and then they're finding, oh my God, there's something wrong with this. Actually, this is not serving me. I'm not getting anything out of this. I'm tired of being a martyr, right? And then they come over into my group, and women are making money, and their needs are met, and people are having $100, $300, $500 days, or $2,000 weekends, and then, but they're still helping people, and it doesn't diminish the point at which you help people. In fact, if you're being given money, if there's an equal exchange of money, then that gives us all the more reason to show up more in service. So I'm really not for that whole argument that charging is unspiritual, because I found, at least for myself and my clients, the people that I work with, the students in my master class, that once they actually started charging, and they started charging what they're actually worth, they actually started helping people more profoundly, because you're able to meet people in a new way. The money that's exchanged is nothing more than a symbol of, I'm ready to do this. I'm investing my money, which is just time and energy, right? And I'm willing to do this, and this is how much it means to me. I have money on the line, so I better do it. So it's like the money actually provides like a buffer between people who want your services but don't want to fix their life, and people who want your services and actually want to do the work. Getting off my soapbox. Rachel says, already did my crying for the day journaling this. I'm going to be doing some crying too. Rachel says, I've noticed that I feel less than I advertise my services, so I go above and beyond to get mad at the quality. So no one buys something. So no one buys because I don't like the product I'm giving. That has a lot to do with it too. I noticed when I stopped caring about the quality, like, I'm always going to give out quality stuff because that's just who I am, but when I stopped obsessing about like everything being perfect, that's when things actually started being fun for me, and that's when people just bought and I didn't even have to worry about it. But when I like but when I was obsessing about things and like freaking out, people pick up on that energy. And still, sometimes it happens. Sometimes I still overschedule myself. Like the past couple of weeks, I've just been so busy with one on one clients preparing for this challenge. I'm in school right now. Like my plate is full. And you guys, I always know you guys can tell when I come in and I'm stressed. It's because I'm wondering about about making a mistake. And at a certain point, you kind of have to just let it go, because when you let it go, then energetically you just start to feel better and you can show up, and it's not about being perfect, because there's no such thing as perfect anyway, you know. Perfect is in the eye of the beholder. Joanna says, I will look into that. I moved as well. Awesome. Victoria, on the other hand, there are a lot of charlatans that I do not want to be like. You know, yes, there are charlatans out there. Yes, there are people who just take money, but in reality, those people are far and few between. I mean, for every 100 people that I've met, you know, that are genuine, authentic, really want to help people, I've maybe met like one person who doesn't, and is just in this. And honestly, those people aren't even in it anymore. Like, there's a window. Like, you know what I mean? Like they get into this business because they think that it's going to be a quick get rich scheme, or they think that spiritual people are dupes and they have a lot of money to spend on stuff like this. And what happens is they realize is that, I mean, it's hard enough to do this as a business when you're doing it authentically and you're doing it because this is what you really want to do and you really want to help people. But if you're doing this and your heart's not into it, they're just not. Maybe they'll get a couple big fishes, maybe they'll get a couple suckers, but they're gonna jump out just as fast as they jumped in, because they're going to realize that, oh shit, running a online business, or running any type of business at all, it is really difficult. So, the only thing that gets me through the day is knowing that my heart is in this, you know. If my heart wasn't in it and I was just about it for the money, I would have dipped out a long time ago, because there's easier ways to make money out there. Like, we don't choose this because it's our fast track to success, you know. So people are in for a rude awakening when they realize that, how difficult it is to actually sustain a business. Rachel says, felt so nice being 200 miles away from my family. Now we're back and I can feel my chakras revolting. I understand. I think when you get into your new apartment, things are going to change for you. Krista says, I struggle with that somewhat, but mostly when it comes to my close friends and family. I've been better about it lately now that everything has been consistent for a while, but in the beginning I let people take advantage of me way too much. Yeah, I do notice that about you, Krista, but here's the thing too, is that you're going to learn those lessons in your own time. And while I do see it happening on occasion to you, I feel like it's all part of your learning experience. It's all part of your growth because you have to feel that uncomfortability to be able to establish those boundaries in the beginning. So once you catch on to people that, not everybody is taking advantage of people because they're trying to get something over on people. Sometimes people take advantage of people and they don't even realize that they're doing it. And in reality, it just comes down to you train people how to treat you. And every single person is going to have their own boundaries. Every single person is going to have their own limits. So for you, it just comes down to all of these experiences that you've gone through are training you on where they're triggering you where your limits are. And once you figure out where your limits are, then you can, erect boundaries that will protect you from those people and those situations. Krista says, I'm at a point where I have put a heck of a lot of time, energy, blood, sweat, and tears into everything that I know and create. I know more than ever my services are worth it, but so I'm happy to give samples of soap or little sales here and there. But other than that, my confidence has definitely grown and expanded. Awesome. Victoria says, I always said that when people say I shouldn't charge, I remind them that even church passes a plate around. Yeah, ministers don't work for free. Ministers get a salary, right? They usually get salary and they get a house allowance. And they don't have to pay, well, some of them, it depends. But most of them don't even have to pay taxes on that. So, again, it's like, it's not even an argument at this point for a lot of us. So, yeah, I totally get it. So that's what we're going to do with the challenge. Everyone's really excited. We've already been on for an hour now, so I think this is a good point to kind of segue into the worksheet that I've given y'all. And we're just going to briefly kind of go through this worksheet. And what I really want you to do is go find the pinned post. And I want you to first spend your $100. Tell us what you're going to spend your $100 on. You can link us to the Amazon product, or you could just put a picture, or you could go to Pinterest and create a board for it, or you could just save the picture to your hard drive, and you could go into Paint or Canva, and you can make what is it called? Like a collage, that sort of thing. Okay? So just do it fun. I don't want it to be something that's like draining. I want it to be a fun exercise for you. Okay, so the money mindset assessment worksheet. We're going to do this today and we're going to do it Friday because what I want this to show you is how your thoughts have changed about money since today and by Friday. So I want you to journal about what are my current thoughts about money, anything that comes to mind. If it's one word, if it's a sentence, if it's like 10 pages long, it doesn't matter. Just write until you feel like you've got it out of you, like you've released some of that energy. It's grounded you to some respect. So just write about your current thoughts about money. It could be anything. It could have anything to do with money, period. It doesn't have to be about your relationship with money. It doesn't have to be about your parents' relationship with money. Just money. It can be positive. It could be negative. It could be both, however you want to do it. And then I want you to write, is money easy for me to make? Is it difficult for me to make? Why do I think that is? Okay. And then I want you to write, is it difficult for me to charge for my services and to charge what I'm worth? That kind of goes back to the conversation we were just having. Why? Why is it difficult for you to charge for your service? And why is it difficult to charge what you're worth? Do you think that nobody will pay it? Do you think that you're greedy? Like, what is it about charging what you're worth is actually at the core here? Where is that doubt coming in? And then I want you to also write, after this 5-day challenge, how do I want my money mindset to change? The worksheet's in the pinned post. Let me do it one more time for you. It's in the pinned post and it's also in the pinned comment of this live video. But I'll also put it there again for you. You got it? Krista says, thank you so much for Christina. You're welcome. I'm happy to help and to serve. Okay, so fill this out. Go ahead and, if you have a workbook, or you can just put it in like Notepad, or you can go to Google Drive, or whatever cloud that you use, or you can open up a Microsoft document. And then if you're feeling brave, we would love to know what your thoughts about money are, and we would love to know what you're going to spend your money on. I will see everybody tomorrow for 3 financial fears to sabotage your business. I hope you have a good day. I'll see you in the Facebook group.